Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips, ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids you never even thought could exist. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive right in. So starting today's episode, we've got an interesting capture. You know how we always post these octopus-like UAPs or UFOs in the sky, and some of you mentioned that they were nothing but kites. Well, this footage might just change that. This was recorded by a man aboard a flight to India. At the time he was recording this, they were about 35,000 feet in the sky. It was at this altitude that he noticed what you were seeing on your screen. Initially, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him, but after a few seconds of trying to confirm if it was really there, he realized it was. But what was it? A cloud? Smoke? Some sort of aircraft? He zoomed in to try to find out. After a few seconds of trying, he was unsuccessful. He did confirm it was not smoke or anything like it. What he couldn't confirm, however, was what it actually was. Confused and a little shaken, he posted this online asking for opinions. According to him, he was at one point worried that whatever that was going to take them out. He suspected this might have been behind all the plane crashes he had seen. He literally felt like his life was flashing before his eyes. Fortunately, however, they just went past it like it wasn't even there. Members of the community considered this as part of a long list of evidence that this is the octopus or squid UAP, depending on where you're coming from. You've seen the clip though, so what do you think? This thing was captured by some fishermen out in the deep ocean. According to them, this wasn't the first time they'd caught something like this, but it was a super rare catch even by their standards. It's also not something they ate, so its catch typically left them confused. Some even considered it an omen. But was it though? Let's take a good look. If you were to ask me, my biased self, based on my interest in paranormal and alien stuff, well, it does look kind of like an alien with its eyes and mouth the way it is. I would have also said it looks like something an alien would make or leave behind, and the funny thing is, many people in the community think so too. But then Julius appears.
It's Julius.
And he looks at things from the eyes of a scientist. The gospel, according to Julius, states that this is probably a deep-sea creature that's found its way into the nets of the fishermen and expressed decompression. For those who are unfamiliar with it, decompression occurs when something from the deep sea comes to the surface. This change can cause its body to swell due to the difference in pressure in the deep sea and then the surface. I won't pretend to understand the specifics, but his hypothesis is that this is probably a deep-sea creature and not necessarily an alien. But you've seen the clip, so what do you guys think? Next up, we got a possible encounter with the big guy, if you know what I mean. This was sent in by a man who was hiking through the woods. It was supposed to be a quite reflective time out in the woods, but this was interrupted when he noticed something moving ahead of him. Initially, he wasn't quite sure what he was looking at, but after a while, it became evident it wasn't quite human. Being the adventurous individual he was, he took out his camera and filmed what you see on your screens. When this hit the internet, it was picked up by various Bigfoot enthusiasts. Some thought this was the real deal, while others were offended by it. For those who thought it was the real deal, they did because of the size of the creature and the almost human-like gait it had. Those who rejected it for a number of reasons. Some thought it was a man in a costume. They felt insulted that someone would put this up on the internet to make fun of their quest for the big guy. Some who were less offended thought the one filming had simply mistaken a black bear for the Bigfoot. They were a bit more forgiving of the era. With many opinions flying everywhere on this particular clip, I'd withhold mine and listen to yours. So what do you think we're dealing with here? Next, we got this footage that's got some residents of North Carolina puzzled. Take a good look. This was recovered by a camera a family had set up on their property. Just for a bit of context, this was recorded at night. They were at home when they heard a loud roar accompanied by a bright flash from something in the sky. It stunned them initially, but once they'd been able to wrap their heads around what could possibly be happening, they checked their camera footage to see if it captured something. Lo and behold, it did, but it was not something they understood. That very clip is what you've been watching. In the clip, we see a cat taking a stroll outside when the incident occurred. Their initial suspicion was that it had to be a plane or helicopter, but after further deliberation, they concluded that there was no way any of these could have caused the flash and sound. At least, not in the way it happened, especially since it was instantaneous and didn't repeat. With any of these crafts, you would have experienced some continuous motion. The only other hypothesis they could think of was alien tech or possibly military tech. But that's not possible, right? Couldn't be real, right? Hoping to get some answers, they uploaded it online. Naturally, there were many theories, including conspiracies, but after going through the many comments on the original post, one stood out to me. It came from a member of the community who suggested that this could be a stealth bomber or a hypersonic aircraft used by black projects for reconnaissance. As interesting as that sounds, not everyone is convinced. They're leaning toward it being something extraterrestrial. So what do you also think? And just like that, we're back to the big guy. The image on your screen was allegedly captured by two hikers on Mount St. Helens. The hikers were out doing what they enjoyed best when they noticed a creature they weren't familiar with moving through the terrain. Thinking it might be something exotic, they began taking pictures, but carefully, so they wouldn't spook whatever creature it was. When they got home, they began their analysis of the captures and realized this could potentially be Bigfoot. Unable to hold their excitement, they shared on many platforms. While many individuals were impressed by their bravery and picture-taking skills, some outright gave them a piece of their minds. Wait, is that good English? Am I allowed to say that? Anyway, don't come for me if it's not. Where was I? Oh yeah, not many were impressed with them. Some pointed out that the image was fake. One person even went as far as stating that he saw no musculature at all, just loose skin and fur. He also mentioned that in the last picture he could clearly see what looked like the flap of a mask or hood at the back. While he believed in the phenomenon, he was certain this image was fake. Many agreed with him, but some stated this was certainly real, and you've seen it. So what do you think?
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Good eye.
This particular clip was captured on the 28th of February 2025 in West Virginia by a man called Chris Manhattan. He was out with a lady friend when they noticed these odd lights in the sky. Initially, they didn't think much of it, but as time went on, they realized that the lights were moving in different formations, almost as though they were transmitting a message. The odd behavior prompted them to start recording. They suspected it might either be UFOs or maybe some sophisticated drone technology. Unable to decide what exactly it was they were dealing with, they uploaded it online seeking answers. Several individuals who saw the post shared similar experiences. One person even claimed that on that same night, he had the highest number of UFO sightings he'd ever witnessed, reporting over 20 crafts hovering above his apartment. He noted that every time they appeared, his lights would flicker or shut off completely. Additionally, he described hearing a loud noise that shook his apartment just before spotting what seemed to be like a drone or a plane observing the crafts and orbs. According to him, these sightings had been occurring since early December. It's a wild testimony, but one that we can't verify. If this is true, then it's serious. Is there anyone from West Virginia here?
Can you confirm if this is true or not, or if you have indeed had strange experiences yourselves? If you can, mail us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'd like to hear from you.
This clip supposedly comes from the depths of the Indian Ocean, showing what appears to be an underwater creature gliding through the water. I'd describe its shape, but honestly I can't. It keeps shifting and morphing in ways no known deep-sea creature does. Either my research is way off or we're looking at something completely foreign to our waters. The person who shared the footage believes it's alien, and most people who've seen it seem to agree. But here's the real question. If it's alien, what's it doing here? Oh, and one more thing. The original video had this eerie cricket sound mixed with wind in the background, which makes some viewers suspect it was AI-generated and fake. I would have my editor play the sound for a short while. Well, now that you've listened, what do you guys think? This was captured by a woman at her son's school football game. She was filming her son when something unusual happening inside the school bus caught her attention. The school bus was parked on the side of the field, but take a close look at its windows. There seems to be dark figures moving about through the windows. My paranormal mind is saying that they look like shadow people running around and inside the bus. The woman was so shocked by what she had seen that she shared it online. She wanted answers. Was she seeing something out of this world, or was her mind playing tricks on her? Many who saw the clip asked her to relax and look at the clip logically. To them, it was most likely the reflection of the moving referee on the bus. And when you look at the clip again, you notice that there's a correlation between the movements of the referees and the shadow's movement. But then again, you can't just chalk everything up to being mundane. Maybe there really are shadow people on the bus, and the movement of the referee caused them to move as well. Who knows? If you are as confused by what you're seeing as we are, this is an alleged clip of a grounded UFO moving an unsuspected man to it. I know the clip is confusing to see, but it wasn't captured by a phone's camera or DLSR. Instead, it was captured by CCTV at night. The man appears to be walking toward an area of bright light with no control of himself. People believe that's because he's in a trance. Many individuals, especially pilots who have experienced UFOs or UAPs, state that they typically find themselves confused or in a trance-like state. While many are riding on with the UAP-UFO idea, there are some who think it was nothing more than a balloon. They don't think the UFO or UAP will be that small when it's grounded, especially given the fact that we can see them in the sky from here. It's controversial, I know, but what do you guys think? Julius, for one, shook his head and walked away when he saw us try to analyze this clip. And big surprise.
Hey, 'cause I got a
Stepping away from the extraterrestrial into the spiritual and paranormal, take a good look at these dolls. Innocent looking, right? But then, why is the cat running away? Now, that's a mystery. The woman who uploaded this owns the dolls and her cat. She had allegedly been hearing strange sounds around the house, including knocks, and couldn't make out where they were coming from. That's at least until her home security recorded this footage. If you pay attention to the clip, the cat stares at the dolls for a while before running away. If you focus on the dolls, however, you realize that there's some dark mass, smoke or mist coming from the dolls. The cat notices this, investigates, and then runs away. Cats don't just run away from things. When they do, it's usually because whatever they're running away from is bad news. Personally, I don't like dolls, so I avoid them, but imagine seeing this in your home. What would be the first thing to go through your mind? Also, do you think there's a logical explanation for the thing we just saw, or is it all spiritual? Personally, my money is on it being paranormal and spiritual, but I'd like to hear your choice and why. The woods can be scary, but imagine you're traveling alone and then you come across something like this on the only patch available. What's the first thing that would go through your mind? I don't know about you, but personally it would be that I've encountered a demon. That must be how the individual filming felt, because he first pauses, and when the thing starts moving, he runs away in the opposite direction. Fortunately for us, he was recording his jogging session through the woods, and that's how we can have the footage. Unfortunately for him, he's got proof, so no one will laugh at him or call him crazy. Let's go back a few steps, though. Take a good look at the thing on the ground. What do you think that is? In the beginning, it looks human, but as the clip progresses, it becomes evident that it's not. Some think it might be a wild animal, but it doesn't look like any wild animal I know. The conclusion, therefore, is that it's an otherworldly being. Some in the paranormal community even point out that there are shadow beings hidden in the trees, but I've tried so hard and couldn't see anything. There are also some who are skeptical and think the whole thing is a hoax. Well, you've seen the clips, so what do you think's going on here? A woman who worked on the cleaning crew at a Mexican airport shared this very strange footage. She was cleaning at night when she started to hear strange noises of a little girl laughing. Unable to tell where it was coming from, she reported it to the camera crew. They then checked the footage to make sure no missing child or anyone was lurking around. To their surprise, they found this. It was a little girl in the parking lot walking in front of the car. She had long, messy hair and was waddling. From another angle, they saw her face and her eyes were glowing. Beyond her eyes, there was this strange thing with her arms as well. The airport workers were shocked and sickened by what they saw. Maybe sickened isn't the right word. Perhaps scared is more accurate. They were wondering if the little girl was an actual ghosty apparition or if there was another explanation for this eerie footage. When this clip was sent to me, the sender asked me to brace myself. I expected something disturbingly creepy. When it arrived, however, it was this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still creepy, but in the end, it looks like a fish with a human-like face and a small body. I had to make sure this was real, which plunged me into a little research. Turns out these things really do exist, and they're called sunfish. It turns out that sunfish, or mola mola, is one of the heaviest bony fish in the world, often weighing over 2,000 kilograms or 4,400 pounds. Known for its strange, flattened, and almost head-like body, the sunfish has small pectoral fins and long dorsal and anal fins, which it uses to propel itself through the water in an almost clumsy-looking manner. Despite its massive size, it primarily feeds on jellyfish, requiring large quantities to sustain itself. Sunfish are found in warm and temperate oceans worldwide, often basking near the surface, giving them their name. Though they appear slow and harmless, they can produce over 300 million eggs in a single spawning event, making them one of the most fertile fish species in the ocean. 300? Nice.
Imagine what the child support would be like if the papa fish was irresponsible.
We've all heard the story of the crew that made it to space and Neil Armstrong being the first man to walk on the moon. But watch what happened when someone approached Neil years later and asked him to swear on the Bible that he walked on the moon, and what happened next.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Sibrel.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Sibrel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible.
He refused to do it. On several instances, Neil refused to swear that he walked on the moon, the very moon that was televised for the whole world to see. He was even offered $5,000 to swear and still didn't. There's always been a strong conspiracy that the moon landing was faked, and refusing to admit something the world knows you have done, well, that's kind of suspicious. What could he possibly be hiding or even afraid of?
You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. I have the tape.
It'll be fine.
Why don't you swear to... Why not? Why won't you do it? So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Sibrel isn't going to fool of himself in front of the world. Mr. Sibrel, you do not deserve answers.
How many days are in February? Well, what about when it's a leap year? If you said 28 and 29 respectively, well, of course you're right. Now, look at this tombstone. It says 30th of February, 1847. Not sure what the story is behind this tombstone, but it's got many in the community talking. The most prominent thing people are saying is that this is from an alternate universe. The assumption is that this came from a glitch in the Matrix, and many seem to have subscribed to it. But is that really the case? Is there a universe out there with 30 days in February, or is this person simply pranking us? I guess we'll never really know. What would you do if you encountered mosquitoes that were roughly the same size as your fist? For the individual filming this clip, it was no hypothetical question, as it really did happen. Take a good look. A few seconds into the clip, you realize that whatever these things are, they've got a body that's more human than insect. Once the clip hit the internet, many who saw it believed that these beings were definitely fairies. Now, I've watched the clip several times, and I must say I'm tempted to agree with this hypothesis, but you've also seen it. So what's your take on the situation?
Hi.
Yeah, she just gotta go.
How are you? Do you have your ID with you?
I don't.
What's your name?
Irene.
Irene. What's your last name, Irene?
Bajard Wilson.
This footage is from a police body cam. It was taken by an officer who was called in by hotel management after a woman started acting rather violently. This was the woman, Irene Bedard. She was the voice actress for the Disney princess Pocahontas. In the first clip, the police had gone to her room to talk to her, and she was acting very strange. In another clip, she was seen running through the hallway, and that's when the camera captured this. On the ground, a dark entity appeared, crawling on the floor, and then it emerged and tried running. They had no idea what was wrong with her. One minute she was calm, and the next she was acting out. Some believe that the dark thing was some type of entity and that it possessed her. So, Is this evidence of possession, or is there another explanation for her behavior?
I don't know what that is.
Stop!
I don't know what that is.
Yo, it's like that thing they showed on
Oh,
Rogan.
whoa. What is that?
It's like that Tic Tac from Rogan, bro.
What was that?
The thing that, like the UFO thing, like flying all over the place.
Anyone who's been on this channel long enough should find this clip familiar. It looks like one we've shown in the past, only this time the lights or orbs were red and they didn't come from one single orb. Now, obviously, this isn't human technology, and the general consensus on the one we shared in the past was that it was alien. Looking at this, I can't help but feel the exact same way about it. The clip was captured by several individuals who were out at night. That gives a level of authenticity to this particular clip. Some in the paranormal community have stated this is all the evidence they needed to believe aliens were really out there. You've seen the clip as well, so what do you also think?
Hey, look at it from my phone, bro. Look at it from my angle. I see that. Oh, no.
While you share your thoughts on that, take a look at this clip. Where do you think this was taken? If you said North Korea, well, you'd be right. And no, there are no paranormal beings in this one. There's basically no traffic, and everyone appears to be doing what's expected of them. It's no surprise, though, as North Korea is the last place you want to make mistakes. It literally could be the last thing you do. If you're wondering why we're sharing this, it's simple. The activity in this country is so ordered and calculated that it looks like they're living in a simulation. Would you be able to live in a place like that? This footage was taken by a man who visited a factory that allegedly makes the so-called McDonald's chicken we've been eating. This is a huge machine used to chemically separate the chicken. As he pans the camera, we see a pile of white stuff. This is what they use for the chicken products at McDonald's. But what in the world is this? We can't say for sure, but there was a research study done by Rabbi Finkelstein, and it was found that the burger samples had human DNA in them, as well as deer and random animals. This is mostly from fast food joints that we buy from all the time. And it's known fact that xenomix is found in them. Do you know what xenomix is? It's derived from aborted fetuses and is put into food to make it taste good. Disgusting, I know. We obviously have no way of verifying this, but if it's true, just what have we been eating all this time?
Chemically separated chicken. Now watch this. This is chicken nuggets. And chicken sandwiches and man. That's what they make that with.
Okay. This place has been abandoned for like 3 months. Oh my god, yes. Okay. Let's go.
Next, we got a brave soul visiting a church that's been abandoned for reasons unknown. They stated that it's been 3 months since anyone was there, and they wanted to see what the inside looked like. They brought a camera along. Talking about filming the evidence of your own crime. Anyway, they get inside and things look normal for the most part. That's until they enter one room and state it smells bad. It would take them too long to find the source of the smell, though. A few meters into that room, they find maggots on the floor leading somewhere. They follow the trail of maggots and it leads them to a dollhouse where they hear faint whispers and the door shuts on its own. Understandably, they get spooked and bolt out of the place, but why the maggot trail and the bad smell? I don't know about you, this doesn't sit well with me. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Move.
Now, this was sent to us by someone here. They asked us to check it out and that they suspected this was a reptile person living amongst us in plain sight. I watched the clip over and over and understood the main reason for the suspicion was the tongue. Well, I don't dismiss that this could be a reptilian person. The tongue is reason enough to declare her one, but there are people with abnormally large tongues due to a condition called macroglossia. For those unfamiliar with it, macroglossia is a condition characterized by an abnormally large tongue, which can cause difficulties with speech, swallowing, and breathing. It may be congenital, as seen in genetic disorders like Down syndrome and Beckwith-Wheatman syndrome, or acquired due to conditions such as hypothyroidism or tumors. The severity varies, with some cases requiring surgical intervention to reduce tongue size and improve function. Treatment depends on the underlying cause, and management may involve speech therapy, orthodontic care, or medical treatments for associated conditions. So yeah, while it does look unusual, it's not enough of a reason to declare someone a reptile person. Either way, what do you guys also think? Speaking of unusual beings, this is drone footage taken over the ocean. As you can see, there's what looks like a mermaid-like creature swimming in the water. Over the years, people have spotted human fish, hybrid creatures like this in the ocean. While some of them look obviously fake, like a human in a fish costume, this footage looks like it could have some truth to it. After all, it was taken in the middle of the ocean. There's still the possibility of it being fake, but I don't know how someone would go to such lengths to fake something like this. Though there are plenty of people who don't believe these creatures are real, there's also a good number who believe otherwise. So take a good look and tell me, do you think this is real footage of a mermaid? Most of the time when we see clouds in the sky, their edges are wavy, fluffy, and irregular, but not like this. Someone recently spotted this rather odd-looking cloud formation, and it's unlike anything most of us have ever seen. It was a section of white clouds with perfectly shaped 90-degree edges. The formation looked like a massive square-shaped cloud hovering in the sky. The sharp geometric edges of the cloud are what makes it so unusual. Clouds are typically formed by natural atmospheric processes, which result in soft, uneven shapes. So seeing something so precise and angular is both fascinating and a little unsettling. Some people have speculated that this could be a rare atmospheric phenomenon, while others have suggested more unconventional explanations. Could it be a sign of advanced weather manipulation technology, or even something alien? Many in the community think it's alien tech, but let's hear your thoughts. Here we have another strange cloud, but this time it's not the cloud itself that's unusual. It's what's on the cloud. When you look closely, there's a round-shaped object. It looks whitish and incredibly smooth, almost like a polished surface. It appears to be hiding within the clouds, but you can clearly see its edges peeking out. This footage has sent shockwaves through the paranormal community. Most people are saying the same thing. It's a cloaked UFO hiding behind the clouds. Just look. It's incredibly obvious. And looking at the position of the sun, it brings it out even more. Is this a UFO? While you share your thoughts on that, I have another one that requires your attention. Many in the community have called this particular footage a glitch. Why? Well, pay attention to the leaf. How did it get in there without getting pierced in the sides? Pay attention, you'll realize it's only been pierced in the middle. That shouldn't be possible, right? That's made many conclude that this is a glitch in the Matrix. Maybe there's someone who can explain this. If there is, please do. Otherwise, we may be tempted to call this a glitch in the Matrix. If you're wondering what that is, it's an alleged merman in a coffin. It's not always usual that we post something like this, but maybe, just maybe, someone here may have seen this in real life and confirmed it was indeed a merman. Julius walked in while we were going through this particular one and shook his head. He asked us if we think the government would allow this on the internet if it was real, and it got us thinking for a while. Then we concluded that the government can't micromanage everything, so things like this could still find their way online and be legit. He then smiled and walked away, but what do you guys think of this? Do you side with him, or do we have a point on this one? Still on things that could potentially be fake, take a good look at this alleged paranormal encounter. What do you think it is? We've watched this clip several times and can't seem to agree on what it might be. It appears to have tentacles or arms and is rolling in the sand. The cat keeps its eyes on it, which convinces us that this has to be real. That was at least until Julius asked us to pay attention to the eyes of the cat. It was at this point we realized that the cat's stare wasn't in sync with the thing's position. Sure, it looked in the same direction, but Julius felt like this was just clever editing. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? Have you ever seen a rainbow that looks like this? Well, neither have I. As with these things, it got the paranormal community excited, and they came up with an almost perfect explanation for it. Some community members speculate that the bent rainbow could be caused by light refracting in an unusual way, similar to how it bends when passing through water. They noted that this only happens when light moves between mediums of different densities, leading to questions about whether the sky itself had varying densities. Others suggested a more intriguing possibility, that something cloaked in the sky, possibly a UFO, could be altering the density of the atmosphere and bending the light around it. Many sided with this explanation and stated that there was a UFO in the sky. I'm tempted to go with that school of thought as well, but let's hear from you. What do you think is happening here? A man was at the river when he noticed all these black fish swimming by. He took out his phone to film them, and then this happened. Another fish came swimming by, and this one had orange color. The black fish immediately swam to it, wrapped itself around the orange fish, and the orange fish became still. Then the black fish unwrapped itself and swam off. This fish effortlessly killed another within seconds and swam away. But what could it be? Some sort of deadly killer fish in our waters that we don't know about? If you know anything about this fish, please educate us in the comments section. If you love hotels, this is for you. The man filming came across a tunnel in an ordinary hotel room. I'm not sure if this is even legal, but the man who filmed and uploaded this believes the elite are responsible for this tunnel. According to him, the elites have tunnel systems everywhere, which we, the ordinary folks, do not know about. Not sure where he got this information from, but if he's been able to find one of them, maybe he's onto something. What do you guys think? There are a lot of things on the internet these days. Some seem absurd and might not be for everyone. I came across this woman who was sharing her experience about something she tried.
Dim the lights in your room or whatever room you're in and find a mirror. Sit in front of that mirror and look into your eyes. And just look into your own eyes in the mirror.
It's called mirror gazing. Here's how it works. You sit in front of a mirror and look into your reflection. Then you stare straight into your eyes and let them glaze over. In her experience, after about 15 seconds, she started to dissociate and her reflection began to shapeshift from her current self to a cat, to her older self, and even to some scary versions of herself. In the paranormal community, mirrors are believed to be portals. Most people who saw her footage weren't happy about her recommending this to others. It's said to be a very bad idea because mirrors can open a portal to anything that might possess you, and the same goes for hypnosis. I don't know much about this, but if that's what it is, then let's be careful out there, especially when it comes to unsolicited advice.
After about 15 seconds, that is all it took, I started to dissociate from myself almost. My face started to shapeshift. And I'm not crazy, I'm telling you, try this yourself.
A woman got her son this cool Elmo balloon. They had inflated the balloon and her son loved it, but every time the balloon would try to float away. One day, while she was going down the stairs after her son had fallen asleep, she saw the balloon, which was supposed to be on the couch but was at the edge of the staircase. So she waited and watched while filming as the balloon floated all the way up the stairs and toward a particular room in the house. As she followed the balloon, it came to a stop and stood there, not moving anymore. Then, from inside the doorway, a dark head popped out. There was some sort of shadowy figure there, but she was alone with her son who was asleep in the room. The woman was so terrified by this. It seems whatever it was, it pulled the balloon to itself. Perhaps it needed a body to possess, and the balloon looked like the easiest thing since it was quite sizable and humanoid. But what exactly was that shadow? Have you ever seen a swordfish attack a human? No? Well, our next clip will show you that their names aren't just for show. Enjoy. These men were out at sea catching some fish when something unexpected happened. One of them had hooked a fish and was reeling it in, but the fish began to jump wildly in and out of the water. Before they knew it, the fish was inside the boat, thrashing about furiously. The commotion was intense as the fish flailed around the deck. It was a close call because this fish had a pointed mouth and was quite sizable, which could have caused serious injury. One of the men lost his balance and nearly fell overboard, but fortunately he landed back in the boat. I know I mentioned a swordfish earlier, but this isn't one. Despite their similar appearance, this is actually a blue marlin. Blue marlins are renowned for their incredible strength and agility, making them quite a handful when caught. Their long, sharp bills can be dangerous, making encounters like this particularly risky. If you ask me, they're quite lucky to have escaped the encounter without anyone being fatally wounded. There's no doubt that the experience left them both exhilarated and shaken. Our next clip is one that has been circulating the internet for a while. It's said to have been taken by a man out in Antarctica. He was out there in the snow when he came across this mysterious cave. The inside of the cave looked like a spiral of black and white lines, creating a dizzying, almost hypnotic effect. But what could this cave be? One popular theory is that the cave might be an ancient structure possibly created by an advanced civilization or even extraterrestrial beings. There are some who also think it's the site of a secret government project and wonder why and how the man was able to get that close. For the longest time, people have believed that Antarctica is a place of many secrets. Perhaps this could be one of them. Unfortunately, the person behind the camera does not go inside to confirm the suspicion, so all we can do is only speculate. But what do you think is in there? Sometimes things aren't always what they seem to be. Take a look at this clip, for instance. The lights were off, but there was light coming in through the windows, and in the middle of the room, there appeared to be the silhouette of a head. You could clearly see the nose and lips, and it looked so real. However, as the person got closer, they realized it was just a stack of caps hanging there. It's amazing how our minds can be tricked by shadows and light, making us see things that aren't really there. This footage is a perfect example of how easily we can be deceived by our perceptions. Have you ever experienced an optical illusion like this? Share your stories in the comments section. While tales of paranormal and mystical creatures can send shivers down our spines, there's something in nature that could be even more terrifying and very real. Take a look at this close-up footage of a tsunami in action. Just look at that. It's a raw force of nature ready to devour and destroy anything in its path. Not only does it look capable of that, but it's just plain scary. Watching the clip made my stomach drop, and I can't imagine how it must have felt to be there. I'm not sure where this was recorded, or when it was recorded, or if it's even real, but this has to be the closest I've seen anyone to be to a tornado. For those unfamiliar with it, a tornado is a rapidly rotating column of air that extends from a thunderstorm to the ground, characterized by a funnel-shaped cloud. These intense atmospheric vortices can produce winds exceeding 300 miles per hour, causing severe damage to everything in their path. Tornadoes form under specific conditions, often involving a clash between warm, moist air and cool, dry air, leading to severe weather systems known as supercells. They are capable of immense destruction due to their powerful winds and unpredictable paths, and are most commonly observed in regions like the central United States, known as Tornado Alley. It's hard to see the rest of it given how close the camera and person recording is, but I just hope they escaped without serious injuries. Can anyone who has experienced any of this confirm if this is real or not? It would help a lot.
В воде просто трындец. Куда вот это заехать? Твою мать, что за наклон? Не знаю, видно нет, эта фигня крутится. Ты не снимаешь? Смерч сраный. Сейчас нас по ней пойдем.
Next, we've got this clip that was taken by some men at sea. They witnessed a strange transparent tube extending from the sky to the water's surface. Naturally, they were baffled by what they saw, and watching the clip, well, I was too. The tube, seemingly clear and shimmering, stretched down from the clouds, touching the ocean in a surreal and almost otherworldly display. No one can say for certain what this transparent tube is or what it could be doing. It's an enigmatic phenomenon that has left everyone scratching their heads. The footage has drawn a lot of attention, with various theories circulating online. One of the commenters on the original post stated, "There's a UFO above the clouds siphoning water out of the ocean through that vacuum tube you see here in the video." In this age of alien talk and increased interest in extraterrestrial phenomena, well, who's to say this comment isn't right, but I have questions. Why would they need water from our planet? Well, perhaps it's for research. And when you think about it, the idea of a UFO using some advanced technology to draw water from the ocean is as plausible as any other explanation, given the lack of concrete evidence. What are your thoughts on this, though? Do you think that there could be a more mundane explanation, or does this footage hint at something beyond our current understanding?
А что, нормально так-то?
Next, we've got a clip that was taken off the coast of New Hampshire. Some fishing boats were out on the sea when something incredible happened. The footage shows a boat ahead, and suddenly a massive whale appears out of the water and slams into it. Just look at that. The impact is powerful, sending the boat sinking into the water almost instantly. It's a dramatic and dangerous scene, and luckily it doesn't look like anyone was seriously injured. Naturally, a collision with such a large marine animal should cause serious injury or worse, but looks like they were lucky this time. Whales are magnificent creatures, but they can also be unpredictable, especially when they breach the water's surface. This video serves as a reminder of the immense power of nature and the importance of caution when out at sea. The fishermen on the other boats must have been in shock witnessing such a rare and intense event. This kind of encounter is not only dangerous but also incredibly rare, making it a moment they'll likely never forget. A group of men were enjoying a leisurely afternoon by the shores of Mexico when they suddenly noticed a strange creature in the water. The creature was partially submerged and its body was partly visible on the surface of the water. Upon closer inspection, the men noticed that the creature had a unique appearance which made it stand out from any other creature they'd seen before. The creature had a smooth body and it was around 2 feet long. Its head resembled that of a seal with a pointed snout and large black eyes. The body, however, was much flatter than that of a seal and it had a distinct pattern of black on its back. The men were unsure what type of creature they had encountered and they debated among themselves. Some of them believed it could be a sea turtle, while others were convinced that it was a leopard seal. They continued to watch the creature as it made its way through the water, trying to catch a glimpse of any other distinguishing features. What do you think this creature could be? The video footage in question showcases a craft that appears to be defying the laws of gravity. Despite our understanding of how gravity works, this video raises various questions. The camera inside the craft zooms in on a bottle of water and the cup that has been placed on the dashboard. When you look outside, it seems as though the craft is moving downwards and then upwards. There is even a point where it looks like the craft is rotating. However, the cup and the bottle remain unaffected by these movements. To add to the mystery, the person inside the craft proceeds to pour water into the cup. Despite the craft's movements, the water flows straight into the cup and doesn't spill out. According to our understanding of gravity, this doesn't make sense. However, Julius, our resident in-house scientist on all things paranormal, states that there is something called the centrifugal force that could explain what's happening here. This force is created when an object moves around a central point and can cause objects to move in a circular motion. The craft may be rotating in a way that creates centrifugal force, which is strong enough to counteract the effects of gravity on the cup and bottle. He also adds that the plane isn't moving fast enough, which could only mean that the individual is in a simulator, but you guys tell me what you think.
El que habita la
Now, speaking of possession, this strange-looking girl is said to be possessed. She's been in this state for months, and despite the efforts of numerous priests and spiritual healers, no one has been able to help her. Her appearance has drastically changed over this period. Her face has taken on an eerie, almost inhuman look. Her teeth have transformed, looking sharp and unnatural. Her eyes have a glossy, otherworldly sheen, adding to her unsettling appearance. What's even more disturbing is her behavior. She frequently screams out, seemingly in pain or terror, sending chills down the spines of those who hear her. These outbursts are unpredictable and add to the fear surrounding her condition. Her family and friends are desperate, having tried everything they can think of to help her. They've turned to every possible source, from traditional religious rituals to modern medical treatments, but nothing seems to work. In the clip, for instance, there's a man apparently praying for her and trying to cast out the demon or whatever it is that's haunting her. The more the man tries and tries, the more she shouts, "Shut up!" In the end, it doesn't really work and the community is left in a state of fear and confusion, unsure of what to do next. Some people believe she is genuinely possessed by a demonic entity, pointing to her unhuman features and terrifying behavior as evidence. Skeptics, on the other hand, suggest that there might be a medical or psychological explanation for her condition. What say you?
El que habita la
It's not every day you run into someone doing what this lady is doing. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but that woman is actually eating raw fish. The person who sent this in thought she was eating a pigeon, but no, it's raw fish. Not that it makes it any better. With the internet being the internet, a number of individuals have come forward to state that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. The big question, however, is that really true? This person, for instance, thinks it's no different from sushi, and many agreed with him. What do you think? The video footage depicts a bustling cityscape with several high-rise apartments lighting up the night sky. However, upon closer inspection, you can observe that the lights emanating from various windows are of different colors and hues. In particular, one can't help but notice the purple lights. Have you ever wondered why these purple lights are so prevalent in these buildings? Several theories attempt to explain the purpose of these purple lights. One of the most popular ones is that they're used for indoor plant cultivation. Specifically, some people believe that these purple lights are used to grow weeds or cannabis plants. As you may know, plants require different wavelengths of light to grow, and purple lights are beneficial for the growth and development of cannabis plants. However, there are others who speculate about the purpose of these purple lights. Some people suggest they may be used for recreational activities, such as parties or social gatherings, which could explain why they're so abundant in certain apartments. What are your thoughts on this matter? Do you have any other ideas or information that could shed light on the mystery of the purple lights in these apartments? Let's take a closer look at this fascinating feline. As you can see, there appears to be a third eye situated right in the center of its forehead. While this could be a result of a birth defect, it's worth noting that the concept of third eyes holds a special significance in many spiritual and metaphysical belief systems. In certain cultures, the third eye is thought to represent an individual's ability to see beyond the physical world and tap into higher levels of consciousness. Given this context, it's not hard to wonder if this cat is more than just a mere physical being, and if its third eye could be a manifestation of some sort of spiritual energy of power.
Here's the biggest thing I've got. This is from an 18-foot person, estimated. Big toe bone, there it is.
That is this part?
Yeah, your very end big toe bone. It's been x-rayed, and this person had broke their toe bone, and then it healed up.
Now, this video was taken at a facility or perhaps a different kind of place, I'm not entirely sure. But what's certain is that these people have safely kept skeletal remains they believe to belong to giants. The first specimen they show is the big toe bone of what they estimate to be a 19-foot tall person. Just look at that. It's enormous, giving us a glimpse of the sheer size of these supposed giants. The scale of this bone is astonishing. Next, they display the bones of a little finger. The woman in the video explains that they visited a village in Turkey believed to be the burial site of Noah's wife. Noah, for those unfamiliar, is the biblical character known for building an ark to survive the great floods, a story well known among the Christians. In the grave, they retrieved 3 sets of bones, and upon review by experts, it was determined that these bones assembled to form a small finger. Look at how large this finger bone is. It's even longer than the woman's entire palm. This discovery raises fascinating questions about our history and the stories passed down through generations. If these bones indeed belong to giants, they could provide physical evidence supporting ancient texts and myths that speak of such beings.
A human finger with a touch of arthritis. And this is the finger. This is this part of the finger. See, it's this, and this.
I really need your help with this one. I was cooking some spinach, and one of the leaves just started inflating, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen. It kind of looks like plastic. Can somebody tell me what that is?
What is going on with our food? There are several clips of people finding odd-looking items that they bought. Here we have a clip of a man who was cooking spinach when this happened. The vegetable began to swell. This is not normal spinach behavior. In another incident, someone bought an avocado, and when it was sliced, this is what they found. The avocado was plastic. The person even twisted the slice, and still it had this plastic look. It did not smash, but twisted like plastic. Here we have another one. A woman bought chicken breast from the store, and while she was preparing one piece, she noticed shards of glass in the chicken. Another person bought cheese, and this is what happened. Instead of the cheese melting onto the fire, it became harder. What is all this? The food manufacturing companies, what is going on with their products? From rubber fruits and vegetables to glass in the chicken, these incidents raise serious concerns about food safety and the integrity of our food supply.
One of the leaves just started inflating, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen. It kind of looks like plastic. Can somebody tell me what that is?
Take a look at this footage and put yourself in this situation. You're running from someone and you come across a metal fence. In a desperate move, you free jump over the wall by boosting yourself using the fence. Now your chaser is on the other side of the fence and you think you have the upper hand. So what do? You stand there, staring at your chaser from the other side, feeling a sense of relief and teasing him a little. But then all of a sudden, he simply opens the door on the fence and steps through. The fence wasn't locked at all. What would your next move be in this situation? Would you say it's best that dinosaurs no longer exist? Considering what we know about them, humans might not exist for long if these massive creatures came out of extinction. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking when I came across this footage. In the video, we see a large creature lying lifeless on the ground. It has a huge tail, and as the camera gets closer, you realize that what we're looking at is a dragon. Take a look at the horns and the razor-sharp teeth in its slightly open mouth. What is puzzling is the presence of people in protective gear who were trying to touch the creature. Is this real footage of a mythical fire-breathing beast, or could it just be an elaborate art project or special effects? It's hard to say because I can't find any info on this anywhere, but let's hear your thoughts.
Con gái vậy nè. Gái vậy nè.
มาฝั่งนี้สิลูกมือหลวงพ่อใหญ่จะได้ถูก
This man lived to the age of 109 and passed away in 2022. He was known as Luang Fo Yai, a revered monk. In his old age, he was bedridden, as you can see in the footage, with his frail body and the outline of his bones visible beneath his skin. Despite his physical condition, he seemed remarkably lively, interacting warmly with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren who were running around his bed. Luang Fo Yai's life and legacy as a monk are profound. Even in his advanced age, bedridden and fragile, his spirit remained vibrant. This video captures a touching scene of a man who, despite his weakened state, is full of life and joy, especially in the presence of his family. Do tell me something, though. Would you want to live this long?
Con gái vậy nè. Gái vậy nè.
What's going on with the weather? As of July 24th, 4 major disasters were hitting different parts of the world at the same time, showing just how serious things have become. In the USA, Oregon is grappling with severe wildfires, which have been exacerbated by prolonged drought and high temperatures. These fires are consuming vast areas of land, destroying homes and causing evacuations. In Italy, severe hailstorms have struck, causing significant damage. These hailstorms are not only a hazard to people and property, but also affecting agriculture, with crops being damaged or destroyed. India is experiencing severe floods, particularly in regions that have been hit by relentless monsoon rains. These floods have caused rivers to overflow, leading to widespread inundation of towns and villages. In Kenya, heavy rains and strong winds have resulted in severe flooding. The torrential rains have overwhelmed drainage systems, leading to waterlogging and destruction of homes and roads. The high winds have compounded the situation, causing additional damage and making the conditions more hazardous. These simultaneous weather-related catastrophes underscore the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events globally. Climate change is playing a significant role in these events as rising global temperatures contribute to more severe and unpredictable weather patterns. A horse breeder went to the stables one morning and stumbled upon a surprising sight. The horse was standing on its hind legs with its front limbs on the wall in front of it. Now that's unusual horse behavior. Not knowing what it meant and not wanting to ask Julius, I went through the comments from the original post, and most people suggested that the horse was trying to break free from the stable. It seemed tired of the confinement, possibly feeling trapped or stressed in its environment. Others offered a different perspective, saying it was just stretching. Horses sometimes engage in behaviors that might look strange to us but are quite normal for them. Stretching could be a way for a horse to relieve muscle tension or simply a playful act. Another possibility is that the horse is displaying signs of boredom or frustration. Horses, like many animals, need mental and physical stimulation. If they're confined for too long without enough exercise or interaction, they might resort to unusual behaviors. But what do you think this could be? Could it be a sign of distress, curiosity, or just a simple stretch? There's also the possibility of wanting to mate, but that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? My money is definitely on a prison break. A man wandering through the woods encountered something that left him both startled and intrigued. Ahead of him, a small creature was crawling uphill. At first, it walked on two legs with a humanoid gait, but soon dropped to all fours and quickly vanished from sight. The creature's appearance and behavior have sparked a whirlwind of questions. It bore a striking resemblance to the goblins of folklore, small, humanoid, and elusive. The way it moved, with a blend of agility and stealth, the creature looks like a goblin. Goblins are often depicted as mischievous and elusive, dwelling in hidden places and rarely seen by humans. The sudden appearance and quick disappearance of this elusive creature align with such folklore. Now the big question is this really real, or is someone just messing with us using CGI? I'll let you guys decide that. Imagine driving and seeing everyone stopping and coming out of their cars with their phones in their hands. You try to see what they are so intrigued by, and then you see this.
Espera, ni idea. A mí no se mueve de ahí.
That's definitely not a Boeing, fighter jet, or any other type of plane we're used to. It definitely has to be of alien origin. I mean, it has that vibe, and people wouldn't be out of their cars recording an ordinary plane, unless, of course, the clip is doctored. Aaron doesn't think so, and Julius refused to comment because he thought we were just being ridiculous. Well, you've seen the clip. What do you think's going on here?
Ni idea. A mí no se mueve de ahí.
Olha, bicho, que é isso, mano? Cuidado, Judá. Cuidado, mano. Que é isso, mano?
Mano, não tem nada.
Caralho, mano. Que é isso, bicho? Caralho, mano. Mano, que é isso, bicho? Caralho, mano. Bora, mano.
Late one night, police in a quiet area were called by residents about banging sounds coming from a building. Concerned, they suited up, grabbed their guns, and went to check it out. As you can see in the footage, it's pretty late. When they arrived, the banging noise was still ongoing, echoing through their empty street. It was coming from a door that was repeatedly opening and closing. One of the officers cautiously approached the door, stepping through first while the rest followed. The person filming also entered and turned back to see if there was someone behind the door causing the banging, but there was no one. The wind wasn't blowing, and the door was wooden and heavy. As they stood there, the door continued its eerie motion, creaking and banging without any visible force acting on it. The officers checked the surroundings looking for any sign of tampering or natural causes, but everything seemed normal. After a while, things got really weird, and that spooks the officers. As they hurriedly tried to get out of the place, one of them's body cam captures something rather eerie and disturbing. We only see a face, but not what it is. Could this being have been behind the whole thing, or are we just reading more meaning into things than we should? I'll leave that up to you to decide.
Vai, mano, vai, mano. Vai, vai, mano.
What's a classified captures episode without a little mystery solving? Yup, that's right. Up next is our bonus segment. Can you guys identify what's on your screen? Remember, I'm not just looking for a name. I would want you to add a genuine fact. I'll be picking the earliest answer with the most interesting fact. May the fastest human, cryptid, or alien win. And yes, we know you non-humans watching our channel as well. We've got our eyes on you. But seriously, all the best. I love reading your comments. Animals are believed to be much more sensitive when compared to humans. Some believe that animals exhibit strange behaviors when they sense danger or something alarming. In this footage, someone noticed something strange with a school of fish. The red fish were all moving in a spiral pattern in the water. They were evenly spaced and moved at a hauntingly slow pace. Fish often display such coordinated movements when they feel threatened. This spiral pattern could be a defense mechanism, an attempt to confuse predators, or a response to environmental changes. Some believe it could also be related to shifts in water conditions or even an impending natural event. What do you think is causing this eerie fish behavior? Could it be a sign of something bigger happening underwater, or is it just another fascinating aspect of animal behavior? Imagine going to a restaurant to have a meal and the fresh meat served to you starts moving and falls on the ground like this. It's like a scene straight out of a horror movie, making you question what exactly is on your plate. Some say it could be muscle memory causing the movement, where residual nerve activity in the meat causes it to twitch, but that doesn't make it any less creepy. Others state that it's a sign that the meat is exceptionally fresh, and while that sounds nice, it's not exactly comforting when the meat is wriggling on your plate. What do you think, though? Would you have gone ahead to cook the meat? Also, are there any of you with a similar experience? Let us know how you handled it in the comments section. We're genuinely curious. What do you see? I'm not the only one who finds it hard to subscribe, right? Initially, I thought I was looking at a camel when the clip started, but as the clip progressed and the one filming got closer, I realized that the creature was too small and maybe docile to be a camel. I then waited for whatever it was to open its eyes, but after a few seconds, I realized that the part of the head I thought the eyes would be had nothing there. In fact, it looks like the eyes and face would be around the area I expected the nose to be. Do you see it, or am I losing it? Anyway, after watching the clip multiple times and staring for minutes, I'm unable to make out what the creature is. Perhaps I've looked at so many paranormal clips that I struggle with the normal now. Can you guys help? If this is an obvious one, please be kind to me in the comments section below because I can't make it out. If it's not something usual, then what do you guys think we're dealing with here? I'll be reading the comments.
I don't know. It's like something... I don't... You gotta watch this video.
This footage was taken at night and shows a mysterious golden light in the sky that keeps flickering. The light seems to enlarge and then become smaller, repeating this process throughout the entire video. As the camera focuses on the light, it becomes clear that its behavior is unusual. It doesn't move like a plane or a helicopter, and the flickering pattern is too irregular to be a star or a planet. The way it changes size also adds to the intrigue, making it appear as though it's pulsing or breathing. So what could this be? Some people insist it's a UFO, given its strange and unpredictable behavior. The changing size and flickering could be seen as evidence of an extraterrestrial craft, perhaps using technology that we don't understand. Before you call it fake, some in the comments section of the original post believe they have seen it too.
Oh, whoa.
What the fuck is that?
This footage was taken by an observer in the dark of the night. A strange-looking object with lights on, it was spotted in the sky. The object itself is not visible, only the lights on it can be seen, making it difficult to determine exactly what it is. The lights appear to be arranged in a pattern that suggests a structured form, but the darkness obscures any definitive shape or details. Some people believe it's a UFO, pointing to the unusual formation and behavior of the lights as evidence of something otherworldly. Skeptics, however, think it might be a blue beam projection, a technology purported to create realistic holograms in the sky. What are your thoughts?
What the fuck is that?
Speaking of hoaxes, it's becoming increasingly easy to generate images and footage that looks very realistic but are too absurd to be true. Take a look at this next one for instance. Someone was allegedly recording a clip on a night out when this happened. A strange-looking creature came from behind and ran away toward the rails. This bizarre creature looked like the lower torso of a deer running on two legs. This isn't the first time we've seen such baffling footage. With advances in technology, it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between what's real and what's fabricated. Remember the infamous Bigfoot video, or the countless UFO sightings that turned out to be drones or clever camera work? The internet is full of these strange and often creepy videos, leaving us questioning the nature of reality. While some people immediately call out these clips as hoaxes, others believe there might be some truth hidden behind the eerie visuals. Looking at this, I didn't need Julius or Aaron to confirm or disprove anything. I concluded it was a hoax, but you guys tell me what you think. Imagine you're out there doing your job when something suddenly squeals, startling you. You pause to find out what it is, and it's this guy. Quick question, what exactly is that? Well, I don't know. It doesn't look like any land animals we know, and try as I may, it didn't come up in the numerous searches I did, which is odd since it was basically hiding in the soil. I thought of it being a mole, but I don't know. Anyway, can you guys help? Is this a real animal in our world, or should I start looking to extraterrestrial origins for an explanation? Confused by what you're seeing? Believe me when I say we were too when we initially saw it. The clip starts off with what looks like some animal being on all fours. A few seconds in, we see there are multiples of these beings, and they are in fact capable of standing on their 2 feet. The thing about these creatures, or beings however, is that their body proportions are just not right. They have slimmer limbs than you would associate with a human, which begs the question, who or what exactly are we dealing with? The answer to that could be anything given the fact that this was allegedly recorded on a trail cam in the wilderness. A number of individuals in the paranormal community who saw this believe we're dealing with a shapeshifter. Looking at the clip, I get where they're coming from, but is that the real situation though? I'll let you guys decide on this one. A homeowner shared security footage from inside his home, and what the camera captured is truly bizarre. A large glowing light orb was floating around in one of the rooms. There were no apparent entry points or sources of light that could explain how it got there. It just seemed to appear out of nowhere. Light orbs remain one of the most mysterious and unexplained phenomena. Whether they are entities, natural occurrences, or something else entirely is still up for debate. Often these orbs are associated with extraterrestrial life because of the way they move, as if they possess some form of intelligence. I mean, we already showed one earlier, but that acted differently from this one, so what do you think this floating orb could be?
Holy Holy
A man was riding his quad bike through a forest path at night and experienced a chilling encounter. His helmet's dash cam captured it all. His dog began barking furiously, alerting him to something unusual ahead. When the man looked, he saw it too, a slender, tall, and pale creature lurking in the darkness. The footage reveals a figure standing at approximately 9 to 10 feet tall, its frame unnaturally skinny with long bony arms that add to its eerie appearance. Could this be a sighting of an alien, a cryptid, or even something akin to the legendary Slender Man?
Holy Holy
Imagine returning home one evening and seeing this in the front of your garage.
What the hell is this thing?
This doesn't look like the kind of welcome anyone would want, and that was the exact case of this individual filming. He felt there was probably a cryptid in from his home, but as he got closer, he realized he might have overreacted. It was just an owl. When he uploaded the clip, however, some thought that he might have been right in his initial assessment and that this creature may have just shapeshifted. I'm not surprised by that submission, though, as owls are often seen as mystical creatures, often associated with omens, death, or transformation in different cultures. In Native American folklore, owls are sometimes viewed as messengers from the spirit world, with certain tribes believing they warn of death or danger. Similarly, in African traditions, owls are often linked to witchcraft, with some believing they're witches or sorcerers in disguise. In Mexican folklore, the lechuza is a shape-shifting witch that takes the form of an owl to spy on or harm others. Not sure how all this fits in with an encounter, but I'll let you guys decide.
What the hell is this thing?
A man once came home to find a bizarre and unsettling sight, 2 identical dogs in his house. At first glance, both dogs looked exactly the same, with only one strange difference. One of them was his dog, while the other was a complete mystery. One of the dogs was ecstatic, jumping all over him like it always did, full of energy and affection, but the other stood a few meters away, silently watching with an eerie, unnerving stare. The man began to suspect that one of these two might just have been something sinister, a skinwalker, a creature known for taking the form of others. He was confused, naturally, and left puzzled as to how to differentiate the dogs. Not sure how he eventually did it, but he uploaded the clip to share the experience. Looking at the footage, which do you think is the imposter and why? Humans have always been captivated by mystical creatures, whether in myths or legends. And while we may not encounter dragons in our everyday lives, sometimes nature offers us glimpses of creatures that feel almost otherworldly. Let me share this example with you. Just take a look at this bird. It looks like something straight out of a fantasy world. With its unique appearance, you might even mistake it for a dragon at first glance, especially when you notice its distinctive ears. It's absolutely fascinating, and it's almost unreal. But it's very real. This stunning creature is called the great-eared nightjar, a bird native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. Its large ear-like tufts and cryptic colors make it appear almost mythical. Naturally, humans are likely to run towards someone in distress and offer their aid. But what happens when you find the distressed person looking like this? Confused? Well, allow me to explain. Some individuals were out at night when they heard a woman crying from the woods. Worried, they moved in the direction of the sound, only to find this creature looking at them. It was responsible for the sound, and they were naturally perplexed. This didn't look human and didn't look like any creature they knew. So how was it making these sounds? Above all, why? Without waiting to find answers, they took some clips and quickly left the place. Once safely away, they uploaded the clip in search of answers. Many theories flew around, with the most predominant one being it's a witch. Well, you guys have seen the clip, so what do you also think? We've all been hearing the theories lately about how UFOs might not just be from the skies, but could also originate from the depths of our oceans. Well, a group of boaters had a truly bizarre encounter when something emerged from the water right next to their boat in the middle of the ocean. Take a look at this. It's a disc-shaped craft rising up. But let's be honest here, doesn't this look like something AI generated? Well, it's fun to imagine the possibilities. What's your take on this? A few months ago, a man was outside when he noticed something strange in the sky. There were 3 odd-looking objects just hovering up there. No one was able to figure out exactly what they were, but that's not even the most bizarre part. These objects appeared to be rotating slowly, almost as if they were surveying the area. Then, towards the end of the clip, something shocking happens. The one in front, without any warning, shoots up into the sky at lightning speed. Just like that, gone in an instant. It's hard not to wonder what these things could be. Could it be alien technology, or perhaps these objects aren't machines at all, but some kind of entity we don't yet understand? The speed and movement definitely hint at something beyond our current knowledge. Some subscribe to the idea of it being AI, and you can't blame them. Aaron, on the other hand, thinks this might be the real deal. What say you? This new footage from Mexico has people talking. It shows a blurry figure in the sky, which many believe to be an alien creature. The figure appears to have wings and moves about, changing its shape as it floats. What makes it even more striking is its purple color, which adds an eerie, almost otherworldly feel to the whole scene. Now, the footage is not the clearest, which makes it hard to say for sure what we're looking at, but it certainly looks unusual. Could this be some kind of rare atmospheric phenomenon, or maybe it's truly something extraterrestrial, as some suggest? And the biggest question is, what was this recorded on?
What in the world is going on? Are they bombing something? What the f***? Oh my God.
A woman stepped out of her home one night, drawn by loud booms and a rumbling sound echoing from the sky. With a camera in hand, she scanned the area, but initially saw nothing unusual. It wasn't raining, and the sky seemed calm. That is, until she turned a camera toward the horizon behind her neighbor's house. There it is, a reflection of intense flames lighting up the dark sky. The glow painted the clouds with an eerie orange hue, suggesting something massive and burning in the distance. But the source of the fire, no one seems to know. This mysterious scene has sparked all kinds of speculation. However, without further details, it remains a mystery. What do you think could have caused this fiery display?
What in the world is going on? Are they bombing something? What the f***? Oh my God.
Holy. Is that you making all that noise back there? You gotta get out.
This man was playing a game in his office when he suddenly felt like something or someone was watching him. Unsettled by the eerie sensation, he decided to set up his camera, hoping to capture his mysterious observer. And he did. Take a look. By the window, a shadowy figure walks by. Startled, the man grabs his camera and rushes out to investigate. He checks the hallway, but there's nothing there. Just as he's about to give up, he hears noises coming from the kitchen. He cautiously heads into the kitchen and living room area, and that's when things take a terrifying turn. An unknown force starts throwing objects across the room. Cabinets in the laundry room swing open on their own, and then a dark figure appears at the door. The tension rises as a chair at the dining room table moves seemingly by itself. At that moment, the video abruptly cuts off. The man can be heard throughout the clip, calmly speaking to the entity and asking it to leave, almost as if this is something he's used to dealing with. What do you think? Could this shadow figure be real, or is it just another elaborate hoax?
Holy. Is that you making all that noise back there? You gotta get out.
A photographer was out near some springs in the Utah mountains when he heard a strange noise. Instinctively, he turned his camera toward the sound, and this is what he captured. Behind a cluster of trees, there was a huge bipedal figure slowly moving through the brush, almost as if it was stalking him. He later shared the footage online, sparking a lot of debate. Some believe it's just a hoax, a man in a costume, and honestly, that theory has gotten a lot of traction. But others, like Aaron and a few passionate wildlife enthusiasts, are convinced this is the real deal, the elusive Bigfoot. What do you think, hoax or genuine sighting? This clip was shared by a hiker who was out in the woods when he noticed something or someone watching him from a distance, partially hidden behind a tree. Feeling uneasy, he quickly snapped a photo of what he described as the creep. The image he captured is eerie, showing a large creature that appears to be an unsettling grin on its face. Although the picture is blurry, a closer look reveals a menacing smile. Judging by the broad shoulders and the head peeking over the bushes, many believe this creature could be a Bigfoot. The size, posture, and overall presence certainly match descriptions of the legendary cryptid, but what makes this even creepier is the grin, almost as if it was aware of being watched. But riddle me this, why would a Bigfoot be smiling when it knows it's being watched?
So, what have we here?
How do you feel about the existence of vampires? For the subscribers of this channel, well, you already know that at this point anything seems possible. From fairies to mermaids and everything in between, the line between myth and reality keeps getting blurrier. Well, someone shared the footage online that stirred up the age-old debate about vampires. A man claims to have stumbled upon something incredible: the mummified remains of what appears to be a vampire. The footage shows a skeletal figure with a metal stake driven straight through its heart. Its hands are gripping the stake tightly as if trying to pull it out. The most chilling detail is its mouth is frozen open, revealing sharp, fang-like teeth. Could this really be evidence of a vampire, or is it just an elaborate hoax? What do you think?
So, what have we here?
Sam, do you need help? Do you need an umbrella? Are you okay? Your makeup's running. She's makeup.
Next up, we got this clip that's got the paranormal community divided. Once this was shared, a number of individuals believed it was a glitch. After it had been online for a while and had gone through many analyses, some individuals started calling it out for being fake. According to them, the clip may either have been edited, or the individual we see hanging is nothing but a doll being held together by thin, invisible strings. They also cite the relaxed mood of the drivers as a reason for their skepticism. What do you guys think?
Sam, do you need help? Do you need an umbrella? Are you okay? Your makeup's running. She's makeup.
Have you heard of Skinwalker Ranch? It's a place that's gained quite a reputation for strange, unexplainable occurrences. This man lives close to the ranch, and he captured some footage of these mysterious lights in the sky right behind the clouds. He says that these lights have always been there, almost like they're part of the landscape. Some people are even saying this could be some kind of portal, a portal possibly the cause of all the strange sightings and occurrences in the area. Take a look at the footage. What do you think? Could these lights be something natural, or is there something more to it? While you try to settle on what that might be, I've got another clip that requires your attention. You need to help me identify this too. The individual who uploaded this one believes we're dealing with the corpse of an alien being. He encountered this corpse whilst exploring the great outdoors like our ancestors used to do. He expected to find interesting things, but an alien was not part of the list. Nonetheless, here it was, and he's not sure if it was the real deal or not. He uploaded it online in hopes to find answers, and individuals on the paranormal platforms he uploaded it on were more confused and surprised than he was. Some believed that the clip was true and that he was really dealing with an alien. Some also thought it had to be fake. There were a few who were skeptical as well. They just didn't know which way to go. They felt it could be AI, but they also felt there was a possibility of it being the real thing. Some were just amused with all the fake responses. They argued that for something to be fake, there had to be a real and authentic version. This simply meant that even if this was not real, there was a real alien out there somewhere. Sounds crazy, I know, but well, think about it.
Hello? Hello?
A man ventured out for a solo camping trip in the woods, but what unfolded that night turned into a nightmare he will never likely forget. The eerie sequence began when he woke up in the middle of the night to strange noises outside his tent. Curious, yet fearful, he cautiously unzipped his tent to peek outside. In the dim moonlight, he spotted an odd figure standing by a tree. The figure was shrouded in darkness, its shape indistinct yet menacing. Terrified, he zipped the tent shut, only to muster the courage to look again. This time he caught sight of glowing eyes peering from the dark, their piercing light cutting through the shadows. Later in the night, the situation took a bizarre turn. Just outside his tent, he saw one of his items, possibly a camping tool, floating and rotating in mid-air. Overwhelmed by fear, he decided it was time to pack up and leave. However, even as he prepared to escape, his ordeal was not over. He spotted another pair of glowing red eyes staring at him from a tree branch. The predatory gaze seemed to follow him, heightening his terror. While the footage in his account remain unclear in parts, this experience will likely haunt him for the rest of his life. Would you dare to camp in the wilderness after hearing a story like this?
Hello? Hello?
Astagfirullahaladzim, astagfirullah. Dianami, ini dianami kok. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Ya Allah, astagfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah, astagfirullahaladzim.
A group of friends were out one night enjoying themselves when they spotted something that froze them in their tracks. In the darkness, they noticed a figure. It's a humanoid shape levitating mid-air. The figure looked like a body wrapped in a white cloth, eerily hovering in place. It's unsettling to watch, and you can hear the fear in the voices of the people behind the camera as they shout out in terror. What could this be? A ghostly apparition?
Astagfirullahaladzim, astagfirullah. Dianami, ini dianami kok. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Ya Allah, astagfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah, astagfirullahaladzim.
In this footage, a man spotted something strange in the sky, a bizarrely shaped object moving slowly through the air. The shape was so unusual that it was hard to determine whether it was a craft or something else entirely. Just take a look at that. As the man continues filming, one of his neighbors called out, asking if he knew what it was, but neither of them had any idea what they were witnessing. The object seemed to defy any clear explanation, leaving them both baffled. Do you have an explanation for this? Share it in the comments, please. Speaking of aliens and the unknown, there was a man who, some time ago, began intense research on dimensions and creatures that might live in realms beyond our own. His work led him to create a device that he claimed could pierce through the veils of our dimension and reveal beings that exist right alongside us, cloaked from our naked eye. When he released some of the images he'd captured using his device, the world was left stunned. The images allegedly showed strange otherworldly creatures living in a parallel dimension just beyond our reach. But then, something even stranger happened. Not long after making his findings public, the man mysteriously vanished. No one has heard from him since. His work and research gradually faded into obscurity with barely any information remaining today. Was he silenced or removed by forces that wanted to keep this knowledge hidden? I guess we'll never truly know. Dogs go crazy at midnight for a variety of reasons, but when you're used to having quiet dogs who all of a sudden become noisy at night, you start to wonder what's setting them off. This was the situation for Oscar Martinez, and luckily for him, his property had a security cam. Once he began to go over the security cam footage, he saw what it was that was upsetting his dogs. It's, however, one thing to see the cause and another to recognize it. Martinez only saw a woman in white walking the streets close to his home. She had this eerie aura that made him believe he was dealing with a being that was not exactly human. He uploaded the clip seeking answers, and he did get a lot of them. The most predominant among the answers was that he may either be dealing with a distressed and lost spirit or dealing with La Llorona. If you're new here, La Llorona is said to be the spirit of a woman who, in a fit of rage of despair, drowned her children in a river after being abandoned or betrayed by her lover. Realizing the horror of her actions, she's consumed by grief and takes her own life. In the afterlife, she's cursed to wander the earth, crying out for her lost children and searching for them endlessly, much like the being we see moving in the clip. What do you think, though? Doors are essential for security. But what happens when the intruder is a huge black bear? A home security camera inside a living room captured startling footage of just such an event. The video shows the front door being forcefully opened, with the frame giving way under the bear's strength. Moments later, the massive animal strides into the house, casually exploring the space. Fortunately, the homeowners were not present during the incident. When they returned, they found the door ajar and watched the footage to uncover the cause and shared this video online. This is also a reminder to secure your homes, especially in areas where bears or other large creatures are known to roam. A man was driving home one night when he came across something strange in the sky. These mysterious lights were lighting up the night, hidden behind the clouds, making it impossible to see where they were coming from. But take a look at the formation. It almost seems like some kind of craft up there. Now, do you know any planes with lights arranged in this kind of formation? Most people are quick to jump to the idea that this could be a UFO, while skeptics are calling it a hoax or saying the footage is edited. But here's the thing. The light appears to reflect on the road, and you can even see them through the trees as the car drives by. So is this just an elaborate edit, or could they actually be something unidentified flying up there just out of sight? Take a look at this footage before I explain anything. In this clip, a woman is calling out to her pet dog, Frenchie, who is hiding under the covers of her bed. But here's the catch. Frenchie had already passed away. She believes that her dog's spirit still visits her and hides behind the covers, just like it used to when she was alive. As you can see, there is a clear movement under the covers, almost as if something is wriggling around. Both clips capture the moment vividly, and after a moment, whatever is causing the disturbance seems to vanish into thin air. So what do you think? Could this be a sign that a dog is keeping her company in spirit? A man was walking home late at night when he started hearing strange snapping sounds coming from the trees around him. So he pulled out his phone and flashlight to record the source of the noises. What he captured is both shocking and baffling. In the footage, a massive creature can be seen moving through the woods. It's walking on two legs. The man believes what he saw could be a Bigfoot. What's your take on this figure in the woods? This footage is truly bizarre. Shared online as a candid capture of a cloudburst, it appears to come from a security camera overlooking a property. At first glance, it seems to document a sudden, intense downpour, a thick cascade of rain that descends with remarkable force. In the chaos, water rushes through, pushing a black car forward while another black car drives off in the background. But here's where it gets eerie. If you look closely, the sequence doesn't add up. At the far end, there's a black car, followed by a white and yellow one. However, as the water falls, the yellow car inexplicably vanishes. Then, almost as if by magic, a black car eerily similar to the one driving away earlier is suddenly washed to the front. Some say it's an unintentional glitch in the footage, others suspect it's been doctored using AI or editing software to create the illusion. What do you think? In this vast universe, it seems improbable that humans are the only intelligent beings to exist on Earth. There's so much more beyond what meets the human eye. Aside from the physical beings we can see, various theories, cultural beliefs, and even religious teachings suggest that there are spiritual entities invisible to the naked eye. However, at times, it appears that these entities may attempt to make themselves visible. Look at this footage. A man was walking through a town completely unaware that something strange was happening behind him. An observer noticed a dark entity following him closely. What's odd is that this figure wasn't his shadow, it was something separate, moving in sync with him. Yet the man didn't seem to notice anything out of the ordinary. Could this be a spirit, a shadow figure, or something else entirely? What do you think this dark presence could be? This footage comes from a security camera and it captures something truly bizarre. A man is standing outside, completely still, staring straight ahead, but the strange part? There's a line of glowing orbs right in front of him. The man's gaze appears locked on the orbs, almost as if he's been entranced by them. The uploader of the footage believes that these orbs might have hypnotized him, and honestly, standing outside in the middle of the night frozen in place is definitely out of the ordinary. Could it be that these orbs are responsible for his strange behavior? We've seen orbs on this channel before, but never had we had any hypnotized people. Could these things be evolving, or have they always been capable of doing more than we realized? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Do birds turn on like bulbs? The obvious answer is no, right? So how do you explain this? In the clip, we see the bottom part of a bird light up and turn off a few times. Many individuals who saw this think it's not real, whereas others think it's a sign they needed to confirm that not all our birds in the sky are biological. They assume this is a cyborg, which sounds a bit ridiculous, but if you had been there, you'd know not to call such things ridiculous. Either way, the paranormal community is divided about this and could use your opinion. What do you think is going on here? What does this look like to you? Confused, are we? Well, once this clip was uploaded, there were some who thought it looked like spirits entering into our realm. Personally, I can see where they're coming from because it has this portal look and feel to it, but it turns out that's not the case. It turns out it's an intercontinental ballistic missile with multiple re-entry warheads that Russia launched on a Ukrainian city. After a little research, I discovered that it may be technology that only Russia has, which means the West predominantly. The US doesn't really have this, and many in the comments section are shaken by this. Not sure which interpretation is scarier, that these are spirits entering our realm, or that this is firepower one nation possesses and can simply launch anywhere whenever they feel like it. There have been various accounts of the Mandela effect. For those unfamiliar, the Mandela effect is when certain details in reality appear to change, not because of growth or natural alterations, but in ways that challenge our memories and known facts. One man experienced this firsthand while using his old phone to scan various packaging. What he discovered was quite shocking. The phone camera revealed changes in brand names, logos, and even historical records. For example, when he looked up a Wikipedia page, it stated that Nelson Mandela had died in 1987, but in reality, Mandela passed away in 2013. This phenomenon is named after him because many people had a false memory of his death long before it actually occurred. Other examples include classic brands like the Berenstain Bears, which many recall being spelt as Berenstein and the land a lakes butter wrapper. Though through the phone, the packaging showed an image of a Native American woman, but when viewed with the naked eye, she was missing from the actual product. The footage captured these strange occurrences in real time. It feels like reality itself is being rewritten, small, subtle shifts that leave us questioning what we think we know. Could it be glitches in our perception, or is it something truly altering our reality? What do you think is happening here? This video from China is absolutely captivating. It shows an eerie, fascinating sight. Small, glowing objects circling around the moon in what seems to be a highly coordinated pattern. The unusual activity in the sky drew residents out of their homes, and naturally, everyone had their own ideas about what was happening. Many believe these glowing orbs could be extraterrestrial in nature, possibly some form of alien craft or technology. It's easy to see why, given their strange movements and the sheer number of them. On the other hand, some skeptics suggest that these glowing objects might just be birds reflecting light in a way that makes them appear unusual in the night sky. But honestly, the way these objects move in a coordinated and controlled manner seems unlike anything we've seen from birds. There's something about the formation and movement that just seems too deliberate, don't you think? These 3 people were having fun at the pool, 2 men and a woman. The woman was in the middle of the 2 men. They decided to take a video together, so the trio went under the water while filming and then came back up laughing. They didn't think much of the footage at first and shared it, but later one of them noticed something chilling. There was someone else in the footage, someone they hadn't seen or met at the pool. And here's where it gets really weird. The pool was not public. This was their own private home pool, yet in the video you can clearly see a figure behind the woman in the middle. It looks like another woman, but her long, wet black hair is covering her face entirely. This unknown figure went into the water with them, rose back up with them, and then vanished just like that. The trio was completely freaked out by what they saw. They had no idea and were certain no one else was there. So what do you think? Was this just some creepy illusion, or could this be a ghostly presence?
Ne oldu? Allahu Ekber! Allahu Ekber! Haço! Haço! Ordusun kaç! Ordusun çağırıyor. Yat! Haço! Abi niye yat? Kalk adam orada tepede. Abi dur!
A group of men were working in the Sile forest when they decided to film their surroundings. But as they scanned the dense trees, their cameras captured something unsettling. A towering, furry figure standing on 2 legs, staring down at them. Panic took over. The man shouted in fear and bolted to their car, desperate to escape. But as they sped off, their terror only grew. The creature was already ahead of them on the road, chasing after their vehicle. The footage abruptly cuts off, leaving us to wonder what happened next. From the brief, shaky video, the figure bears a striking resemblance to a Sasquatch, but skeptics are quick to dismiss it as a hoax, especially since the clip conveniently goes out of focus at key moments. Others, however, believe this could be something far more sinister, perhaps a skinwalker or even an ifrit. I have my doubts about this one, but what do you think? A genuine encounter or well-crafted scare?
Geri. Ya! Geri kulağım şuna. Nereye gidiyorsun? Nereye gideceğim? Dön kafayı böyle. Abi nereye vereceğim? Bir dakika. Kafayı böyle ver. Geri kaçalım. Tamam. Geliyor mu? Geliyor.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.